Hello guys, for those of you that took my wire bending course in April at the DLAT in Las Colinas, Texas, here are the videos that I promised. Sorry it's been so long. I've been having hard drive issues with my iMac, the one I used to edit this video. So hopefully these will be out pretty soon. Obviously if you're watching this, it's already out, so I wanted to go ahead and apologize for not having it out in time. But what I'm going to do is just go, if you still have these wire bending exercises, they're on the site, designandretainer.com, and you can download them if you don't have them anymore. Hopefully you still have some wire left, some 030 wire, and hopefully you were able to get a hold of some bird beaks and some 3-prongs, or any pliers of your choice. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's the wire bending exercises for beginner. And it's just your basic left, right bends, left and right bends together, curves, different curves, and things, mainly the main bends you're going to use when you bend wires. So I'm going to see if I can do this all in one take, this whole sheet. If not, I'll probably send out or release maybe 1 or 2 videos covering maybe just the top row and the bottom row. So there's my 032 wire. If I haven't already explained it before, what your goal is to make sure when you bend your wire, it lays flat. See if I can get a good shot of that. Lays flat on the paper. Oops. It doesn't curve up or down. You won't have an issue with this one or this one, but you will start having that issue with this one and the rest of them. So make sure you got these 2 bends down good. Alright. Okay, make sure have your 030 wire, and you can use any size. What we usually make our wire bending, what we usually make our retainers out of is 032, the labial bows. But I decided maybe we start with 030, it's a little smaller, but yet will give you enough feedback bending wise where it's not too easy to bend. Now I've taken my mark, here's my pin. If you see me grab for my pin, this is my little holder I've made. I made my mark right on the joint. Take my 3-prong, move my zoom over, and I hold it right to the right of my mark, because I'm going to be bending the wire up this way. The corner, the actual corner, is my mark, so I need to grab it just before the corner so that when I make my mark, when I make my bend, my mark is the exact corner. Now it's going to be different with 3-prong. I'll show you in the next one where you're going to put the 3-prong right on the mark, but I'll show you that in the next. So see how I did that? Okay. Make my mark right where I want to cut it. Make sure I am lined up down here. Cut it, and we're good. Like I said previously, you won't have to worry about it bending up or down. Now, if you notice, it has just a slight little curve. It's not very sharp. Let's see if I can bring that up closer. Not very sharp, so I'm going to try to make that a little bit more sharp. There. Oop, in doing that, I unbent my bend. There we go. Now, in case you couldn't tell, is completely covering the markings, and it is completely flat. Alright, next one. Okay, this one I'm going to use my trusty handy dandy 3-prongs, and I'm going to attack this in a different direction to show you can usually start wherever you want on these, one end or the other. If you know what you're doing, it's going to come out the same. Alright, there's my mark. Take my 3-prongs. Oh, bring that down into the picture. So I don't know if you can tell, but my 3-prongs are directly on that mark. I'm just going to squeeze them. Alright, that's going to get me about 45 degrees, not all the way to 90. So I'm going to take my thumb and complete the 90. Oop, this side. Oh, I started. I'm getting y'all backwards. I'm sorry. This is how I did it. I started up here. You got to keep an eye out of where you start, because in this actual bend, it's okay if you flip it, because you can just cut. But then you're going to be cutting this end and this end. But if you keep it the way you started out, you only have to make one cut. Now, if I hadn't ever showed y'all before, when you cut, make sure you hold both sides of the wire. Otherwise, you are going to shoot your neighbor who's bending wire next to you in the eye, and they are not going to be happy. Okay. There it is. Trying to zoom in, focusing, and it's flat. Okay, still working on the same piece of wire. This one is made up of 2 bends. I'm going to use a 3-prong for both those. Sorry. I'm going to use the bird beak. Same bend as before. And did you notice I start my wire at the very end here, right there, so that I don't have to cut that end off. It's already cut. That saves me time and keeps me out of trouble. Alright? So, I got that bent okay. Now, time for making my... Whoa! Okay, real quick. Here's how you fix... Remember how I showed you it was off the paper? So you can kind of see how it's going up a little bit. Put my thumb here. Bend it with your hands. Now, it should lie flat on the paper. A lot of wire bending. One of the tests on our lab school quizzes was, do you bend wires with your fingers, with your pliers, or C, both? The answer is C, both. You can do a lot of your adjustments with your hands. So you see how now it's flat. Okay, now, Let me show you the wrong way to do it. Okay, here's the wrong way to do it. Do your mark. Bend. Alright. Do your mark. Bend. Now, I didn't pay attention to the plane that my pliers were in. This plane, this plane, this plane, this plane. Remember, we are working in 3D. That's good for movies, bad for us. So, this is what you get. So now you got to take time and fix this. If you bend it right the first time, you're already moving on to the next one. Again, but it's easy to fix with pliers or your hands. Show you how to fix it again. Put your thumb in the middle. Bend the opposite way. And you might overbend it, you might not. It's just something your hands will get used to, is the feel of the wire. And we're good as new. Next up, these.